Another thing. Okay, so Homelander got the B1, right? Not only did he not get more powerful, which is kind of weird, I understand that we never got the exact verification that B1 made you stronger. I think most people just assumed it. But okay, in this episode where Soldier Boy appears and they dose him with the virus, when he does that, he still gets weakened. Why not still using the virus with him and still using it? And even though it was not gonna kill him, it would have still been enough to weaken him, at least in a reasonable amount that would have helped the plot to work in a more natural way than just saying, oh, he has a B1 now. Remember when Soldier Boy was in the bag and people thought he was going to die? That never happened. He was always perfect state just because of the B1. And like, okay, that's my issue with it. If you ever saw Homelander for something that he wasn't, as an idol, that's you problem. If you ever saw Homelander for something that he wasn't, that's you problem. That's a you thing. That's not the fault of the show. You know why? Something really simple. People forget that characters are characters. They aren't supposed to be perfect, flawless. But that's what makes them interesting. So, imagine this. Imagine if somehow the Star Wars movies were written now instead of years ago, instead of decades ago. Imagine that was a thing, right? If that was the case, imagine if Eric Kripke directed that thing. If he was the showrunner of Star Wars, right? If he was that director, he would say, no, Anakin shouldn't be liked. Darth Vader should not be liked. Because if he's a genocide maniac, he should never be liked. You know? And suddenly, Anakin goes from a serious villain, and it goes to something decent, and a villain that is supposed to be a villain. A villain is not supposed to be good. In Darth Vader's case, he was redeemed, but that's something different. Homelander was never supposed to be redeemed, right? But the thing is, imagine if, okay, so they liked Darth Vader, they felt empathy for him, that we should destroy Darth Vader's character.